by delivering universal childcare to each and every New York family, whether their child is 6 weeks or 5 years of age. We will do this because our North Star is a relentless focus on an economic agenda. And it's why I've pledged to increase the minimum wage to $30 an hour by 2030. It's why I will build 200,000 new, affordable, permanently rent-stabilized, union-built homes.
Today on California Reports, October 2025, a state assemblyman from Queens is running for mayor of New York City, and he has 3 words he says everywhere he goes: 30 by 30, $30 an hour by the year 2030. He says it on debate stages, at rallies, directly to camera. Right now, if you are earning minimum wage in this city, you cannot afford to call it home. We have to change that.
So here we Zoe again, Mayor Mamdani, moving closer to making his progressive dream a reality. His campaign promise to make New York City home to the nation's highest minimum wage is now headed to City Council for approval. If passed, minimum wage would nearly double in the Big Apple by 2030, jumping from $17 an hour today to $30 an hour.
Voters believed him. More than 70% of New Yorkers, according to polling at the time, supported a $30 minimum wage. He wins in November. On January 1st, Zohran Mamdani is sworn in as mayor of the largest city in America. Now, fast forward to March 10th. A crowd gathers on the steps of City Hall in Lower Manhattan. Councilwoman Sandy Nurse of Brooklyn is there. So is Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso and the labor organizers who spent a year building support for this moment.
Moments ago, a campaign was set to begin outside City Hall in support of a $30 minimum wage in New York City. The $30 for Our City campaign kicks off as Councilmember Sandy Nurse introduces legislation to raise the city's minimum wage to $30 by 2030. The current minimum wage in New York City is $17 per hour. Coming up at 5, we'll have more on the proposal and reaction from workers and businesses about the impact that could have.
11 other council members put their names on the bill alongside hers. It's called the New York City Minimum Wage Act, and it's the legislative version of the phrase the new mayor built his campaign on. So, when his own slogan finally becomes a piece of paper with a bill number attached, you'd expect the mayor to be standing on those steps. He wasn't. What came out of City Hall instead was a written statement from a spokeswoman, Dora Pekic.
Actually just meet your basic needs, you need to earn about $38 per hour. Today, we're just asking for
$30 an hour, 2,000 hours a year, that's $60,000 plus fringe. How can an entry-level person make close to $80,000 if there's going to be benefits in fringe? It's not sustainable.
Meanwhile, the mayor's office says New Yorkers need to make a living wage. His administration is reviewing the legislation.
Mayor Mamdani believes that all New Yorkers need to make a living wage. As the administration reviews this specific legislation, the mayor remains committed to tackling the cost of living crisis using every tool at the city's disposal. Read that again, slowly. It never says he supports the bill. It says he believes in a living wage, which is a different sentence entirely. 13 days later, on March 23rd, a reporter at Gothamist called City Hall back and asked the same question. A different spokesperson answered this time, Casio Mendoza. Quote,
"Currently, there is no city in this country that has a $30 per hour minimum wage. In Los Angeles, however, in 2 years, hospitality workers are going to get that for a minimum wage, but only hospitality workers." Whatever the downsides may be, the $30 minimum wage has a high-ranking ally in Mayor Mamdani. He pushed for the increase during his campaign, but now the work begins to suss out whether the idea has a future.
To address the affordability crisis, Mayor Mamdani believes every New Yorker deserves a living wage. As the administration reviews this legislation, he remains committed to using every tool available to bring down the cost of living and deliver real relief to working people. 2 spokespeople, 13 days apart, the same sentence rearranged. That's a formula. So what does a statement like that actually commit a mayor to? Nothing. It's built specifically so it can't be quoted against him later. Gothamist put it plainly in the same piece. The mayor who campaigned on the promise of a $30 minimum wage has yet to take a public stance on the council's own proposal. Fox News Digital asked City Hall directly whether the mayor intended to sign the bill if it reached his desk. They reported they never got a response.
New York City Council introducing a bill that would raise the minimum wage in the city to nearly double the current rate of $17. Employers with more than 500 employees would pay workers $20 an hour by 2027 and $30 an hour by 2030. Companies with less than 500 workers would hit this mark by 2032. Now, this would make the minimum wage the highest in the nation. Councilmember Sandra Nurse, who sponsored the bill, saying the existing rate leaves too many New Yorkers in poverty.
There's a version of this story where reviewing is the honest answer, and it has nothing to do with courage. It comes down to a single line buried in New York state law. In New York, the minimum wage isn't set by the mayor. It's set in Albany, by the state legislature, 150 miles up the Hudson. And there's real legal uncertainty over whether the city even has the authority to set its own wage floor at all. There's a court precedent for this. It's called Wholesale Laundry Board of Trade versus City of New York. And under that ruling, the state's highest court found that the city cannot set a minimum wage higher than the state's. That case is old, but it hasn't gone away. And it's exactly why the mayor's own hospitality industry critics are pointing to it now. Think about what that means for the promise. $20 in 2027, $23.50 in 2028, $27 in 2029, $30 in 2030, a 4-year staircase with his name on it. But the staircase was never fully his to build. Even the person he personally appointed to fight for this cause has said as much.
I'm so proud to appoint 2 deputy mayors who will not only work to deliver the affordability agenda that resonated with so many New Yorkers, but will lead the implementation of that new, more expansive approach to governance. First, I'm delighted to announce Leila Bozarg as my deputy mayor for housing. Julie Su will serve as New York's inaugural deputy mayor for economic justice.
In December, Mamdani created a new position, Deputy Mayor for Economic Justice, and gave the job to Julie Su, the former acting U.S. Secretary of Labor under President Biden. 4 months into the job, when a reporter from the city asked Su directly whether the administration would support the bill, she declined to say, citing the same uncertainty over whether the city can raise its own wage floor without Albany's approval. The deputy mayor hired specifically to champion this fight is using the same hedge as the spokespeople she now oversees. It isn't only Albany standing in the way. The bill still has to clear a council led by Speaker Julie Menon, a moderate Democrat.
Julie Menon is the first Jewish speaker of the city council, and in her first 100 days has presided over an activist body that has introduced a record 1,200 bills. So I have to ask you this question. You know, a lot of people look on the speaker as the check and balance on the mayor. How do you see the job?
Well, we're a co-equal branch of government, and we have a number of different functions. Obviously, we pass legislation. We also have oversight over all the city agencies.
When Gothamist asked her office, her spokesman, Eric Sunshine, said the speaker looks forward to reviewing this legislation. That word again, reviewing. Now, stop and look at the room we're actually describing. A Democratic mayor, a Democratic council speaker, a council where Democrats hold an overwhelming majority of seats. All of them reviewing a bill written by a Democratic councilwoman to deliver a promise a Democratic mayor ran on. Nobody in that sentence is a Republican. There is no organized opposition large enough to block anything. So why does the bill just sit there? Because the slogan already did its job. It won an election in a city where more than 1 million people earn the minimum wage. You don't retire a phrase like that. You just quietly stop putting a date on it. While the top line number gets all the headlines, almost nobody read the rest of the bill. Buried inside it is a change to how tipped workers get paid, eventually eliminating the tip credit for city restaurants, phased in for the smallest businesses by around 2032.
The number on the front page is $30. The number that closes doors is in the back. Buried in that legislation is a change to how tipped workers get paid. It would eliminate the tipped wage credit for New York City restaurants.
Right now, an owner can count a portion of a server's tips toward meeting the minimum wage. Strike that credit, and the owner is on the hook for the full hourly rate, tips or no tips, for every server, every shift. And the businesses that feel that first aren't the steakhouses, they're the 8 table places with 1 owner, 1 cook, and a nephew washing dishes on weekends. Jessica Walker, president of the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce, said it in one sentence the week the bill dropped. This is not a raise for workers. It is a closing notice for businesses. Tom Gretsch, who runs the Queens Chamber of Commerce, did the math out loud on camera. $30 an hour, 2,000 hours a year, that's $60,000 before fringe benefits, closer to $80,000 once you add everything on top. His warning was direct. You're going to see businesses close and a lot fewer new hires. Now, I want to be fair here because the other side has real numbers too.
This will be another nail in the coffin.
Tom Gretsch is president and CEO of the Queens Chamber of Commerce. He says a jump to $30 an hour would be unsustainable and would hurt the city, forcing businesses, who themselves face rising costs like inflation, out of the city or out of business altogether. He also echoes the findings of a Congressional Budget Office analysis during the Biden administration that increasing the federal minimum wage would lift some families out of poverty but cause other low-wage workers to lose their jobs.
MIT's own living wage calculator puts the true living wage for a single adult in New York City above $31 an hour, higher than what this bill even asks for. The Economic Policy Institute projects that 1.68 million New Yorkers, more than a third of the city's entire wage-earning workforce, will still be earning under $30 an hour by 2030, even if this bill passes exactly as written. Sandy Nurse put a number on the human cost the week she introduced it. A worker earning $17 an hour takes home roughly $500 a week. She called that a weekly crisis. More than 1 million people in this city earn minimum wage. That's over a quarter of the entire local workforce. The people pushing this bill didn't invent the problem. The city really is that expensive, but the risk is documented too. A Harvard Business School analysis found that every $1 increase in the minimum wage raises a median-ranked restaurant's chance of closing by 14%. This bill moves the wage by $13, landing in the same window New York hosts the World Cup, then the Olympics 2 years later.
While new numbers show the country's job market might be doing okay, increasingly the same cannot be said for New York City. There's new data out from the state that shows the city actually lost jobs last year, and more the jobs that are being created are not helping traditional sectors of the city's economy like finance and tech that have boosted the city in years past.
Restaurant jobs in the city have already been declining through 2026, according to New York State Department of Labor data, by roughly 9,600 positions year over year at points this year. That's the number behind this story's title, and it's worth being precise about what it does and doesn't prove. Supporters argue the causes are more complicated than one bill. Opponents argue the uncertainty itself is already changing how owners hire and plan. Nobody has fully separated one cause from the other yet. So who benefits from a bill this heavy that nobody in charge will publicly claim? Nobody. It just sits there, collecting reviews. The first person to put this contradiction to Mamdani's face wasn't a Republican or a Chamber of Commerce. It was Morning Joe on MSNBC, where co-host Willie Geist asked him this. Take the $30 minimum wage to the guy who owns a dry cleaner, the woman who owns a nail or hair salon. They say, I'm going to have to lay people off or close my business. How do you explain that? Mamdani already had an answer ready. He said it would be phased in over a longer period of time for small businesses, the way it's typically done whenever a city raises its minimum wage. Sit with that, because that is exactly what Sandy Nurse's bill actually does. Large employers reach $30 in 2030. Smaller employers get years longer to phase in. The accommodation he promised on national television, a year before it reached his desk, is written directly into the bill's text. He gave the answer. Somebody wrote his own answer into law, and then his office started reviewing it. It isn't only his critics keeping score. Raise Up New York, the coalition that campaigned for him, alongside the labor group Align, put it in writing on their own website. Mayor Mamdani supported raising the minimum wage to $30 by 2030 in his campaign's affordability agenda, and voters turned out in historic numbers to elect him. Now it's time to deliver. Those are the people who knocked on doors for him, telling him publicly that the clock is running. Meanwhile, everything next to the wage issue kept moving fine. The Sue appointment, the push to double the budget of the agency that enforces wage protections. The machinery moved. The wage itself didn't. Then came a Thursday in July in that same chamber. This time the bill on the floor had the council's own paycheck printed inside it. On July 16th, the council voted 42-6 to give itself a raise. Council members go from $148,500 a year to $175,500. The mayor's own salary rises to $305,800, retroactive to January 1st, in effect within 45 days.
And then I had a second question. If the city council passes this pay raise bill, I know you've said you won't accept.
I will not accept a pay raise.
Can you just elaborate on why?
I haven't knocked on anyone's door in New York City, and they've said their concern is that the mayor makes too little. So,
Thank you, everyone.
That's not my concern either.
I'll be straight with you. The honest version of this is worse than the cheap version. Mamdani turned his own raise down publicly, saying he hasn't knocked on a single door where the concern was that the mayor makes too little money. Speaker Minion turned hers down too and abstained from the vote entirely. Good, he should have. But look at what he found his voice for. Clear, fast, and public about the raise that was his, on the raise that belonged to more than 1 million people making $17 an hour, 4 months after they stood on those exact steps and asked for it. The answer was still, and remains, that the administration is reviewing it. One raise took an afternoon to pass. The other is sitting in its 5th month of review. Most people get the pay raise story one night, and the minimum wage story another night, and never lay the two side by side. You just did. That's not a broken promise in the way people usually mean it. A broken promise gets announced. This is a promise that was simply never put back on the calendar. If you want the next investigation the day it drops, subscribe and turn the notification bell on. Leave a comment below because I want to know exactly where in this video it clicked for you. Go back to those steps on March 10th. The crowd, the bill, the slogan finally written down on paper, and the sentence the man inside that building used to say everywhere he went, over and over, like a broken record. Right now, if you are earning minimum wage in this city, you cannot afford to call it home. We have to change that. $17 an hour. Still,